Greetings, my fellow video game music listeners. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a few times where video game music was too controversial. Bro, can you fucking believe that? There were a few times where certain video game soundtracks were too controversial. Bro, what the fuck? Jumping straight into the video, the first game I'm going to talk about is Parappa the Rapper. Everybody know this game. It came out in 1996. It was like a rhythm game or some shit like that. I'm going to sound so non-tapped in for this, but I've never played it before. Check me out though, right? In the United States, some groups of parents claim that the game glorified disobedience and promoted a rebellious attitude. And to be honest, in my opinion, it's kind of bullshit to just single out Parappa the Rapper. That was kind of like every piece of media in the 90s. Imagine if you travel back in time and you showed them niggas GTA 5. This was a time where rap music was still viewed with suspicion in the mainstream media. Politicians back in the day were like blaming it for everything from youth violence to the decline of society and shit. Just straight up acting like they didn't have the CIA funnel crack into the United States, you know what I'm saying? So to them niggas, to see a cartoon dog rapping commands in a kid's game, that was too much for them niggas. But it don't even matter because majority of the world view the game as goated anyway. You feel what I'm saying? Second game on the list with music that was too controversial. Earthbound, specifically its final boss theme. Earthbound is another game that I've never played, but from the outside looking in, it looks like a quirky, lighthearted game, right? But while I was doing research for this video, I stumbled across the final boss theme for this game. And when I first heard the music, this shit was absolutely terrifying, right? Like, not even terrifying. It's indescribable the way this music sounds, right? The best way I can describe it is like if you just straight up do a heroic dose on some acid or some mushrooms, right? Like just straight up ego death. This shit sounds like ego death, a bad mushroom trip. This music was so compelling that I watched the final boss, right? I watched someone play the final boss on YouTube. This shit looks literally deep. First of all, what the fuck is Gygas? Bro, this look like Zamasu's final form in Dragon Ball Super when he covered the sky, bro. This shit is ridiculous. It's honestly quite baffling how somebody could come up with some shit like this for a game made in what, like 1994, some shit like that. Back in the early internet forum days, niggas was speculating that the boss was inspired by a disturbing childhood memory of the creator, specifically a scene from a violent movie he accidentally saw as a child. Some even said that the visuals and audio hinted at themes of like
connection terminated
or existential horror. Of course, none of this was confirmed, but the sheer mystery behind the composition of this music made it one of gaming's most haunting soundtracks. Bro, this is like an Evangelion level RPG, bro. This shit was made for kids? Moving on to the next game, we're gonna be talking about Tony Hawk, baby, yeah! Everybody know about the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series. I don't gotta give no grand announcement to this shit. Alright, but the first game, we're gonna talk about the first game, right? It brought in music from genres like underground punk, hip-hop, and ska. Songs like Dead Kennedy's Police Truck and Naughty by Nature's Pin the Tail on a Donkey. Two songs that I've never listened to a day in my life. Let's just say that these songs weren't sanitized for younger audiences. There was cursing, political rebellion, and social critique. Naturally, this stirred up controversy for some parents. They said that the music promoted violence and anti-police sentiment, and in some areas, schools banned kids from bringing game discs. Some stores even warned parents about the content. So remember back in the day when you dragged your parents to GameStop to go get the new copy of Call of Duty or GTA 5, and when they went to go pay for that shit, the nigga at the counter was like,
"You know this shit not made for kids, right?"
And your mama give you that crazy ass look and she like,
"Put that shit back right now."
But of course, the controversy surrounding the soundtrack to this game made it even more popular. You know what I'm saying? And rightfully so. It introduced a whole generation of gamers to genres of music that they never listened to before. Tony Hawk was basically like a MTV for gamers. On to the last video game soundtrack on this list, and I'm not even gonna lie, this shit is kind of stupid. But Persona 5, this game's soundtrack was so slick and stylish that it made some critics say that the soundtrack clashed too hard with the game's more darker themes. I don't really understand the whole fuss behind that. Persona 5 soundtrack is fucking amazing. If you got a problem with it, you can personally meet me outside in my backyard and we can put on some boxing gloves, you know what I'm saying? We can duke it out. Anyway, the tension between sound and story is what made Persona 5 special. The soundtrack became a bold artistic statement in its own right, and for many players, including myself, even though I've never played the game, it elevated the game from good to legendary. Damn, I'm really not tapped in. What the f? I haven't played any games on this list. Yeah, there were some times that video game soundtracks were too controversial. I honestly can't believe that was even a thing, but if you like this video, like it, of course. If you didn't, dislike it. I don't even see him anyway, so I don't give a f. And comment, nigga. Start a conversation in the comments. You feel what I'm saying? Don't be shy. We all friends around here. We all kin. We all bro. And let me know if y'all want me to do a part 2 to this, because there's way more I can get into. With that being said, y'all be smooth and hit a blinker on the Benjamin for me.